Hello everyone, this is Lou Zacharilla from the Intelligent Community Forum, coming to you again from New York City. Last night, before I went to bed here in New York in the United States, we had 10,841 coronavirus deaths, about a third of them in the region where I live. So the pandemic continues. We're hoping that here in New York, at least, we are beginning to see a plateau, as our governor indicated yesterday based on some of the data that he's looking at. It has been 27 days since the World Health Organization declared this an epidemic, and the world continues to battle, especially its cities. In New York last week, for example, it's become a mental health crisis as well. A police officer had to actually shoot an armed man who said he wanted to die because he had the coronavirus. So there are a range of issues that we're beginning to deal with here in the United States. While we are dealing with a lot of issues here, there are some tools that are beginning to come online, and we wanted to explore them from the cities that we consider the best cities. The top 7 cities of the ICF are the ones that we most wanted to speak with, because they are the ones that exercise, we think, the best practices in all areas. And so today we started with one of the best, a multi-time top 7 city and a current top 7 city for this year, the city of Tallinn in Estonia. What we wanted to do was to speak with the person who is the executive of the city, Mr. Toomas Sepp, and he is coming to us live from the capital of Estonia, and I wanted to introduce him today. Welcome, Toomas.
Hello, everybody. I look strange, but that's the strange times, and it's I wear something what I'm usually not wearing in my office, but just to get you an idea how our people are using different aids. And now I'm taking it off.
Right. Well, as we know, Estonia is always prepared, and you've demonstrated that right away. But I have to ask you, are the people in your office actually wearing that type of gear? Are they wearing masks? What's going on there in the center of the capital city?
I will say that in my office, in city office, we have 350 and more jobs, and 26 of them are at the moment in the house. Everybody else working in home office. We provided everybody with reasonable equipment. We already having everything almost. We can work from a distance.
Very good. And as I read last night, you have about 1,100 cases of coronavirus in Estonia?
Yes, and 21 deaths.
21 deaths.
Yeah.
Well, our condolences. Toomas, what is the actual situation now? Is Estonia in a complete lockdown at this moment? And what are you doing in terms of using technology for which you are revered to manage the city?
I will say that our lifestyle changed a lot. We are not locked to the homes. Only these who are in quarantine, they have to stay at home for 2 weeks. These who are tested and having a virus and not hospitalized, they have to stay also at home, take care about themselves. We limited contacts between the people, people staying at home, and because of we are so advanced, we also changed and closed all our schools, and we have plenty of possibilities, starting with e-school solution and all the materials. So all our educational system working from home. That's a big challenge for the both parents and children, and also to teachers. There is no secret that teachers are not 20, 30 years old people. They are usually in 50s, 60s, and that's a very, very big challenges for them, and new instruments, new environments, they have to learn all together.
Yes. But Estonia is noted for having gone online first, so to speak, as a nation. You've had a national vote online. I think you were the first to do that. Famously, in the 1990s, you invested a lot of resources in information technology. And so has there been as much of a struggle in other sectors? For example, the economy, healthcare provisioning. Are you finding that the transformation has been more smooth than you would have imagined because of this early investment?
I think that we are advanced already, but this crisis, how bad it will be, having a big challenge also for us. We improved already some of our solutions, especially e-services, and now we will see that we need to go quicker in this way. We have to improve our solutions, but we already changed some of our procedures, talking about how people getting subsidies from the city, how they get served by the cities. More and more work is going online, and in healthcare systems we have a e-health system where you can follow all your personal data. It protected data, but through this system you can also apply medicine. You can also have your recipe from the doctor and go wherever apothec to buy your medicine, and it's all in the system, and the usage of these systems are now growing up quickly.
Yes. What has been your biggest challenge so far in terms of running the capital city, managing the capital city, using both this technology and addressing a specific problem? What keeps you sort of worried or up at night?
I will say that all the problems what faced us before now having even more impact to our life. It's a relationship with the central government where we don't exactly understand how the medical equipment, masks, whatever protecting instruments we need, how we will get them from the state, or we have to find the solutions for ourselves. So it's coordination. It became a very big issue, both in state and city relations, and also inside the city, because some of our departments are like silo towers, and now this crisis shows us that this is impossible. We have to work more closely and help each other, and we also have a now new instrument to follow up what is our different departments are doing. We moved our work to the internet, so we have a Teams meeting. It means city government meetings already moved to internet. Only mayor and myself, we are together, keeping a distance, but all others are in the Teams, and we learning this instrument together, we're using it, and all our other meetings also are moving to the internet. So now we're working with city council meetings information system, because there is a challenge how to be democratic to get everybody possibility to participate, but from the other hand have a quick decisions.
Yes. I wanted to ask you with regard to testing. One of the challenges that we're finding in New York and in the United States is that the testing was slow to come online, and so our data gathering is just beginning to become a useful tool. Are you testing your citizens? Is there a self-test mechanism that you've put online? How is that process going?
We have a system, but family doctors are having a right to send you for the testing. And of course, we have special testing systems for fees who are working directly with viruses people. And we also now just today started a new research possibility by the phone. So there will be like a testing how our community is ready. And I think some 10,000 people will be selected by the research company, and then took tests, and we then follow up what the real situation is. But because this testing, if you are not testing everybody, will not show the real picture.
Yes. So the testing is a select group of people that the research organization, is that research organization governmental or is it private?
No, it's a private hospital. I think it's a hospital business. I think it's, not sure, but it's, I think, some part of Tartu University clinic.
Yeah. Are you satisfied that you are getting the data that you need to manage this crisis in Tallinn?
Not fully. We have challenges here. So if we're trying to create a tool to understand what kind of protection instruments our people will need, we will ask from the departments, from different organizations city owns, but not only. There are also the elderly houses run privately. We have to also take care about these organizations, because otherwise we are not working like territorial government. We shouldn't stay only for our city own needs. We have to see the bigger picture. And we have here challenges how to borrow the necessary data. Some organizations don't know what to ask because we don't know, we didn't describe too clearly what we need. We created a special web page for the city where we will deliver all the information both inside of organization and to our citizens. So we try to get together all different instructions, recommendations from the different bodies. They are coming quickly, they are changed quickly. So we have tried to get together some information which is updated. And this is a big challenge to follow up all the recommendations from the different bodies.
So I'm going to guess and say that one of the areas where you've had to innovate or adapt is to sort of bring information together from sources that before that had never been contributing information to one another. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. And also we now try to pick up a package for entrepreneurs. What is our help to them, because state is doing their own instruments using, and this bill is in the our parliament to be decided this week. But we also trying to help our companies who are our partners, are renting our rooms or making some NGO work together or social work, whatever. So we also having our own package, and we are now finalizing these proposals both to the council and to the city government.
Again, Estonia has a significant entrepreneurial class, obviously in the information technology area, but also in healthcare and others. Has there been a dedicated effort to communicate to the entrepreneurs, those that work at home, those that work in offices, with regard to making sure that those companies will stay intact and be economically viable when this is over?
Yes, of course, this is packages from both from the state and from our city. What is biggest problem for us? That's tourism sector, hotels, restaurants, travel companies, our biggest ship companies. That's very big part of our business, and this is closed down now. Our recommendation for our people is to go to outside to a fresh air, but to find the places where there is no too many people together and keep a distance. And believe me or not, but the best place for this is at the moment Tallinn Old Town,
yes,
which is usually overcrowded now.
Yeah.
There is no people at all.
Yeah, and it is beautiful. So you're sending them there. Of course, you have those beautiful beaches. You know, and you're on the Eastern Baltic, and I remember you took me to one in the middle of a snowstorm, but you don't have the snow to isolate people now. Are the beaches closed?
Yeah, and there is no too much pressure on beaches at the moment. It's 10 degrees in outside. Just recent days. It was much colder and no pressure to swim or to sunbathe.
That's right.
And what I will also add that we also created some hackathon, which was our initiative to bring together clever people and to find new solutions in our crisis time. And this was very successful initiative first, but also by the result. And we have a such called artificial intelligent bot Suve, which is answering to the questions, most asked questions, learning the new answers, and it helps us to answer to a typical questions, not using the human
I see.
aspect.
So you're using artificial intelligence to anticipate questions that people have, and distributing that. Has the hackathon been continuous, or is it sporadic? Is it a community that you've created? How is that working?
These sessions are going one by one. One session is over. Next session is coming. So that's quite interesting. And people now having a time, and you shouldn't be where to participate in the project. You can work from home, and this is also very big psychological challenge for our families. First week was very nice to be with your family. Next week, problems already who are using the computer, or if there are 2 or 3 childs, they all have to work with school exercises in the computer. So how to deliver this time between the family members, and I don't talk about the psychological pressure.
Yeah, that's a great amount of pressure, and that will impact who gets the Christmas present probably. But it is a significant issue, even in Estonia. Evidently, we heard from one of your colleagues in Dublin, Ohio, in an earlier video, and he said that they have taken the caps off the municipal broadband network. Can Tallinn do anything like that to provide more capacity to the home, or can you work with your providers to do that, or is that being done?
What we have done, because all the children, school children stayed at home, we tried to help them with computers first. We allowed our schools to let computers to the children who are working at home and who haven't the possibility. From our centralized sources, we also provided them equipment. What we can't do, it's about the network, as this is mainly our private companies who are delivering these services, and we talked with them. They are working on different packages. They are thinking what they will do with the bills for the March and April. And I haven't heard the final solution from any of them, but at least this is under discussion.
Very good. Of course, that impacts the economy, right? The degree to which people are able to go online and continue to learn, continue to provide economic services of all types. I wanted to ask you two questions. The first one, you mentioned earlier that, of course, Tallinn, as the capital of the nation, has a responsibility outside of even your office. I just learned this when I was doing some more research, even though I should have known this having been there. You have over 2,000 islands. Are those populated islands? Right. Are those populated islands?
These are islands. We have actually 2,222 islands.
To be corrected, that was the number. Yeah.
That's the final figure. Tallinn owns just one of them, closed by ourselves. But usually we are very small islands. We have two bigger islands. One of them are, unfortunately, the biggest crisis region, where a population of 40-something thousand, but there are more people in coronavirus than in Tallinn. So it's very big problem in one of our islands. So it's the biggest concentration of our this sickness, and they closed really the island for visitors. You can also only go to your home from there or back to island, but you can't move anymore outside. So this is a real catastrophe region for us.
Is there a hospital on that island?
Yes, they have hospital. They brought there also additional army hospital, and yes, the biggest problem, but there are also virus in one of our elderly houses, and this is problematic. Actually, it all started from one volleyball game between Italian and Estonian team. So,
oh my, yeah. That's how this thing is getting started. Yeah, it's so unfortunate. The big question that everybody's beginning to ask in a very, very serious way, obviously, is how are we going to find the balance between the disease, which will be with us for a while, and the economic activity that we need to continue to produce the kind of wealth that reinforces society. We've been talking about, or we've been hearing about from people in your position, the middle way, finding a way to balance the threat and yet slowly but surely bringing the economy back online. Has the Tallinn City Office that you preside over had any discussions about that, and are there any ideas that seem appealing to you?
This is what I told previously about the packages what state is providing for the entrepreneurs, for the people who are not having any more jobs or whose salaries were cut down. there are serious sectors like I told you, tourism and restaurants, hotels, travel companies, buses are staying, nothing to do, no tours, whatever. So this is one part. From the Tallinn side, we try to help these who are having business with Tallinn. It means companies, it means NGOs with whom we have a partnership, like letting them rooms, buying from them services. We try to cut as less as possible these contracts. We try to follow them. We getting them free of charge, 2 months, 3 months, rent help. We try to move projects with NGOs for the other ways, for example, sport clubs, activities, which you can't bring people together. So they will go to the distance learning. Trainer will be in one room and showing exercises, and others are doing it. And this is not unusual. This is usual way how to do the things.
Yeah, that's and it keeps them in shape as well, right? I hope our baseball players are doing that here in America, because we don't have that.
Yeah, I finished my trainings. I can't go anymore for my volleyball and tennis, so you can't recognize me. I got several more kilos, so later on I will work on that. And,
yeah, well,
it's a real problem. Yeah,
maybe you take up sumo wrestling temporarily and
I can
use those kilos
I
effectively.
Yes, that will be my discipline at the moment. Yeah.
Toomas, I really appreciate you making the time, because I know you're incredibly busy as the head of the Tallinn City Office, as I'd mentioned. Let me ask you this though: what will you be doing now the rest of the day? What does your day look like in the middle of a COVID-19 crisis like this?
Yes, we have now additional things to do. So my days for the 2 last weeks have been starting at 8:30 and some maybe 12 hours here, then back home, and finishing some works at home. For example, protocolling these crisis meetings and send the protocols out at the same time. Otherwise, they will not be any more actual. Because if we one day say that it have to be like this, tomorrow we will say that we will do now it's otherwise. So it's big challenges to share your time, and this is good to have a meeting online, but it takes more time. It's nothing to do.
And it is a challenge, and I assume, knowing what I know about Tallinn, that the citizens are responding to the city government, that they are looking to you as the source for information and trust, and that you guys are delivering that. Are you comfortable that you're doing enough of it, that you're able to take the temperature of your citizens and know what they're thinking and feeling, and putting rumors to the side so that they can get just the facts?
Yes, we are working very intensively now with our citizens. We're delivering a special news. Our government set up a special every day 12 o'clock press conference where the specialists and politicians will talk about the things. In the city side, we're also having different channels out to spread our news, and we have a Russian-speaking population. We now more intensively working also in this direction, and we have some contracts with private media companies. For example, we are trying to bring together these people who need some help and these who are ready to provide some help. It's any computers or just visiting, bringing something from the shop or something like this. And this also one how we are responding to the crisis, bringing together these who are needing help and who are ready to help.
Yeah. Toomas, I again, going back into your history, of course, it's sort of 9,000 years if you really look at it, but Estonia was really founded, the modern Estonia, I believe, 1918, November 1918, the Republic. That was during the last influenza. You were founded during that period. Do you know anything about that history? Was the influenza attacking Estonia at the time of its inception?
It was in whole Europe, that was a time of big changes, and great empires were fighting between each other, and our nation had good leaders. We used opportunity once in the century and second time in the 1990s, when again the empires were not so strong to respond. And I think it's a kind of miracle that we are an independent country and we improved to a whole world that we are still can survive. Today, for example, we got news from Fitch rating agency, and our city rating was kept in the same level, and this is good, and our debts are very low level, our financial system working well, so it was a great recognition for us that Fitch didn't took anything out from our rating.
That's congratulations on that. And I don't think all of those things are miracles. I think that's the nature of the people and people like you who have led the city and the nation over the century. Congratulations on that. You've taken advantage of all the opportunities, and you have amazing people. I'll never forget my Top7 site visit there. As I alluded to earlier, it was in the middle of a snowstorm. You took me to a football match between Canada and, of course, Estonia. And there was a snowstorm, and the citizens came out onto the field and swept the field. You didn't recall the maintenance crew or anything, and they just did it. It was almost spontaneous, like a snowstorm itself. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. And for me, that's always been the poetic image of the place that you call home.
Yes, like in London, our climate is changing very quickly, and our people are ready for changes. And I will say that this kept us alive like a nation.
Yes. Well, Toomas, may you live a long time, and I want to thank you again for coming here, showing us your new style, your new hat. It's a fashion that we hope goes out of fashion in a couple of weeks around the world. But good luck with everything you do, and thanks for
just for the finishing.
Sure.
I asked from my people in the reception hall, where still some of them are working there. What is your problem? And they will say, well, mostly women, we need to correct our hair. We have to find a hairdresser. Can you help us?
Yeah.
But this service is also closed for us.
I know it's miserable, and so we hope everybody goes to their stylist and it's looking beautiful again. But you guys always look beautiful to me. Congratulations on being a Top7 city again, and I hope to see you in October at our summit in Dublin, Ohio. Toomas Sepp, thank you so much.
Hope to see you all, and let's hope together that this virus case will be closed as soon as possible and finally.